How's it guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be going over three types of strategies that I actually use when I trade. So the first one would be a breakout strategy. So I'm going to go through a few examples on each different strategy. The second one would be a Fibonacci strategy, and then the third one would be a retest. Okay, so these are the core strategies that I do use when I trade. I mainly just use these strategies when I trade. I don't use many other strategies because my trading style is very, candlestick based. I don't use any indicators or anything like that. I sometimes do use trend lines, and I will be going over that as well. So it's going to be quite an in-depth video on all the different types of strategies that I do use. So make sure you stay until the end. I'm sure you guys will find this very interesting. So let's get started on the first type of strategy. So it's going to be a breakout strategy. This is the main one I do use, and I'll go through it from top to bottom. Okay. So let's have a look here for, I've got a Solana, right? So this is, I've already charted it nicely for you guys. So essentially what you want to be doing is you want to be charting out the highs and the lows. Okay, so you can see Solana was trading within this range over here first. So you want to be finding your ranges. Okay, so it's important to understand that, we had this range over here. Okay, so we're going to make that in a different color here. Okay, so this range over here was the current range that price was obviously trading in. Okay, you can see that we have the range highs. I've highlighted it there within the circles, right? So we have the high, the high, the high, and then once we broke below this range, what actually happened is we had a breakout, right? So okay, so it's important to understand this. This is a combination of a breakout and a retest. Okay, so technically, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, okay, you can see that price was trading within this zone right over here, right? So you can see how price was doing this. We were bouncing from this area, came down, bounced from this area, came back up, and then we had that breakout of this blue line that we've drawn in, right? So on the 4-hour time frame, it's telling us that price action, if it closes below this level, it's valid to look for sells, right? Okay, so we now know that, for example, let's go back here, like something like this, right? So if we take the replay tool, okay, we want to be looking at, we want to be seeing a break below this key level here. Okay, so we take a look at the replay tool. Okay, so you see we had that closure right over there, right? So what we want to see is, okay, we had a closure below this level. We want to be going down on the 1-hour time frame, and you can see we closed, bearish, right? But if you look at this, for example, so what you want to do is, it's important to, in order for you to take sells on this retest, on this closure, you need to be waiting for two things, right? The first thing, I'll type it in over here, right? So number one, right? Number one is wait for candle to close below support. So we're going to say support / resistance because I'll be going over that as well. Just now, there's a few examples here. Okay. Number two is, so this is important to understand this. Okay. So number two would be wait. So if it's a closure below support, so if it's closure below support, you want to wait for a top wick first. Okay. So I'll explain that now. Wait for top wick, then take sells, and then vice versa for a breakout to the upside. Okay, so basically what this means, okay, is when you look at this right on the 1-hour time frame, so we had that 4-hour closure here. So basically what I would be looking at here is I would wait for this, right? So we had this top wick over here that got created. We had a top wick getting created over here, right? Then what you would wait for is you would wait for this to flip bearish, right? So if you have a look at that the 15-minute time frame, yeah, this is where I'd be looking at sells, right? Because this is a perfect area. And then you put your stop loss above this previous candle high, and you want to be targeting around about a 1:2 risk to reward. Okay, you can look at a 1:3, but I normally target at a 1:2. Okay, so in order for you to take the sell here, you need to make sure that it flips bearish, right? So basically what I mean by that is you want to be waiting for it to flip bearish. So you can see how it created this top wick first, and then you want to be taking sells on the break of this previous candle wick. Okay, so you want to be waiting for sells over here on the previous candle wick. Okay, and it's better to wait for like a 1 hour candle slash a 4 hour candle. So we know that the 4 hour candle did close below the range, right? We've identified that, and then the 1 hour candle created a top wick and then flipped bearish. Okay, and you could even target this previous low over here, right? So that would be the first trade, and that's just a breakout trade. It's very simple to understand, but you need to make sure that you wait for the candle to close below support. Wait for a top wick first. So basically, when you wait for a top wick first, what that means is it basically grabs liquidity in order for it to carry on going down, right? So you have to make sure you wait for a top wick first, and then once it flips bearish, you take sells, right? So we'll keep it going here. So now that we know, so it's important right now, right? So this was our previous low over here, right? So we now know that, okay, we've broken this range, right? Price action broke this range. We now know that, okay, we bearish, right? So you can see that I have a level here. So this is the zone that we're looking at. You would be wanting to look at sells again on the retest of this level, okay? So the breakout strategy would be taking sells on the break, right, when you close below, and then you want to be taking sells on the retest as well, okay? So you can see when price comes back up to this zone, you want to be taking sells back down to the previous low, and you want to be targeting this area, okay? So you'll see how that plays out. So this would be, you could even plan this out before you take the trade, right? So you could even put a setup like this, right, and target the previous low. You would have to wait and see where your wicks are for your stop loss, but basically this is what you want to be doing, okay? You can plan this out before. If it retests this level perfectly, then you can take sells. But you can see the reason why we're taking sells is because we broke structure to the downside, right? And it's valid to take these sells, right? So we'll see how this plays out if you press the replay tool. I'm going to make it go a bit quicker because we don't want to be all day. So this is the 1 hour time frame, okay? You can see that, it's still bearish. The only reason when it will be bullish is when it starts closing back above the range, right? So once that happens, then you can start flipping at your mindset. But until then, it's still going to be bearish, right? So this is basically the area where we want to be selling at. You can see that's perfect, right? So you can see how price tapped into this level. So you can see now, right, it's quite evident that we have a new low being created over here. And that's where you want to be targeting, okay? So this area over here is your level where you want to be taking sells, right? Whenever price taps into this area. Because now, what you can see here for Solana, it's forming a brand new range, right? This is now the range low, okay? So even that, right, we just broke below that level. That would be an area to sell, okay? But now, what I'll be looking at for this setup right over now, we can pause this, okay? So basically, this trade played out, okay? And what you want to be doing is now, because we have a new range for Solana, right? So from this area to this area now, you want to be taking, okay, if price closes back above this, if price closes back above this range here, then you want to be looking at bars, okay? So if we keep playing here, I'll be looking at a potential buy once we get a candle to close above this range, back up to the previous high, okay? So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so you can see we would have to wait for that next candle to close here. So let's see. Here we go, okay. So this is the area where you want to be buying, okay? And you put your stop loss below this previous wick, and you want to be targeting the previous high, okay? So let's see how this plays out. So we might be in drawdown for a bit here, but we'll see if it taps back into this high here. Okay. And then same thing goes, right? If we get a tap into this resistance like we did over there, you want to be looking at sells, right? Because this is your selling zone. Only once we start closing it above this level, then you take buys. So you want to be taking sells on the retest there, something like that. Okay. So within this range over here, you're catching, 1, 2, 3, 4 trades. Okay, yeah, obviously it takes quite a while, but these are 6% ranges, right? This range over here, from this level here, 20 to 19, is around about 6%. Okay, so we'll see how this plays out, but you can see how it taps perfectly in that zone. Make this go a bit quicker. Once we close above this range here, you want to be looking at bars. There we go. Okay, look at that, right? So can you see everywhere to the left here, we haven't closed above this 20.46 level. So I want to quickly highlight that and show you 20.4746, one of that level, right? We didn't close above it here. We didn't close above it here. But when we closed above this level here, what actually happened is it's a breakout, right? So you want to be taking bars, right? And if we have a look at this, wait for candle to close above or below resistance / support. So we closed above, right? So now if candle closes below support, wait for top wick. But now because we taking a breakout to the upside, you want to say if it closes above resistance, wait for bottom wick, right? You have to wait for a bottom wick, then take buys. So very, very easy, okay? So you wait for a bottom wick first. So you can see how we flipped. So we'll put this over here just so you guys can see it. But basically it's important to understand that. We'll make it a bit bigger because I can see it's quite small. We'll put it on 20. Make sure you guys read this and write it down. But basically we closed above this level here, right? Closed above this level, wait for a bottom wick, take buys back up to the range high. You would put your stop loss below this wick over here, and this is your entry, okay? Same thing with here. We closed above this new range over here, right? So price couldn't close above this range, right? So price couldn't close above this range, but when we did, where did we go to? We went back up to this range high. So you could have taken buys from this level as well, okay? So that's pretty much like with Solana, you've got this whole level, right? You just need to mark out your ranges, right? It's quite easy to mark out your ranges. Mark it out on the 4-hour time frame and then go down to the 1-hour time frame and then wait for the candles to start closing. When you get that, you should see a lot more volume there, okay? So that's Solana. Very, very nice strategy. So we had the breakout and we had the retest within one coin. Okay, so let's go over like another example. This is just Ethereum, basically looking at bars there. I already took a bar for Ethereum. Let's go over my comp trade yesterday. Okay, so look at this, right? It's similarly. Let me go over this, why I took the setup. So you can see the setups there. I did take profit very early, but let's go over it. So looking at this right now, we know that our range high is over here, and our range low is right over here, right? Okay, very, very simple, right? We have a range high, a range low, so we're going to mark that out like this. Okay, so this is our box. When price closes below the box, what we want to do is we want to look for sells, right? So when price closes below the box, we want to be looking for sells. Okay, very, very easy. So basically, you can see over here, let me just mark out the highs and the lows just so you can see it. Just so we can understand why we're drawing these levels. Okay. This is the low over here. This is the low over here. And this is the low right over here. Same thing with here as well, right? Okay. And you can see when price closes below here, right? This candle over here closed below this level, right? So we now know that we're looking for a retest, right? We're looking for a retest back up to this level for sells, okay? Very, very simple. Okay, so taking sells based on that is valid, right? So you want to be looking at a sell on this retest, and your stop loss would be above this previous wick here. Look, go for 1:2, and that would be your trade. The trade that I took was, I did miss this retest, but then I was looking at this, I was like, okay, we formed, you have to adapt, right? We formed a new low over here, right? So I was waiting for sells below this level, okay? So basically, if you look at the 15 minute, it will give you a bit more understanding of the new range that we work in. Right over here, right? So you can see right over this level, we have that closure, okay? So if you have a look at the 1 hour time frame, once we close below here, what do we know from Solana? This, right? You wanna write this down. So we're gonna take that back to, I think it was comp. We're gonna paste it here. Okay, so we know that once we close below support, if it closes below support, wait for a top wick, then take the sell, right? So right over here, right, we close below support, take a look at the top wick, wait for it to flip bearish, you take sells. You put your stop loss above the previous wick and target a 1:2. You can even look as 1:3. Okay. So this is also a breakout strategy / a retest strategy. So the retest would be this previous high, and a breakout would be you wait for the previous candle wick at a top wick, and then you wait for it to flip bearish, right? So when you're looking for buys and when you're looking for sells, it's different, right? But it's the same strategy, okay? So when you're looking for buys, wait for a break of the resistance, wait for a bottom wick, and when that candle flips bullish, you take buys, right? Then for sells, you wait for price to close below support, wait for a top wick. When that flips bearish, take sells, right? Let's see if we can find another example. But you can see, like, when you're highlighting these zones, look how simple it is, right? Compared to, having all these indicators on. You just have to identify these levels, okay? Bitcoin Cash. So I was looking for buys there, but look at this, right? Actually, not a great example there. Let's have a look at MKR. Yeah. Okay. So another way how I use the strategy for retest is also I use a combination of the Fibonacci tool. Okay. So I'll go over it as well. But essentially, looking at this right now, right? So looking at, what is this? MKR. MKR is quite a sketchy coin to trade, but basically this is our range, right? Let me actually redraw everything here so you can just understand why I'm drawing things, right? Boom. Okay, so range high over there, range low is over here. Okay. So looking at this, right? Very, very evident that we have our range high at the top here, like this, right? This is our current range for MKR. Closures below here, you'd be looking at sells, right? Okay, so basically we have this level here. Once we start closing below here, same thing as Solana and the other comp we're looking at, right? You want to wait for two things. Boom, right? Write this down, right? Wait for candle to close below support, create a top wick, flip bearish, right? Same thing here. We had close below support, top wick was created, wait for the flip, you take sells, right? So sell over here, stop loss would have to be above this previous high, and you want to be targeting a 1s2. You actually just, for this trade, you would have to put your stop loss around about here, just above this level, and target a 1s2, and that actually hits perfectly, okay? So that trade would be valid. But now, looking at this, right, this is when you want to be using the Fibonacci tool, okay? Because you can see it starts closing back above the range. So technically, you could probably take buys here, because you think about it, this strategy is more for scalping, right? It's very short-term time frame. You could look at this, stop loss below this wick over here, and target the previous high here, okay? But the thing is, you have to understand two things, right? Did price break structure, okay? Right? So we had this low over here, we had this low over here, and when we close below here, we now flipping bearish, right? Because price was just ranging between these two areas, okay? So when price ranges between two zones, you are just in a ranging market, right? So in order for you to take a trade, you need to wait for a breakout, which is why we took sells over here. But you can see it's closing back above the range, okay? So this is when you say, okay, you know, this is when you have to start looking at it and be like, okay, we're flipping bearish here because we closed below the previous support. And we are looking for a retracement trade, a retest trade / a Fibonacci retracement, okay? So you want to take your Fibonacci from your previous high to your previous low, okay? Okay, so you take it from this key area over here, right? So this is where the move happened. This is where the tracement happened. So you can see that the Fibonacci, let's go back there. Yeah, okay. You can see that the Fibonacci right over now, we have this resistance over here. So you can even draw it over here that price is most likely going to come back up to this level here, which is exactly in line with the 0.786. Okay, price came up, came back down, looking for sells. Okay, the reason why you're looking for sells over here is because we had this level of resistance / support. Very, very simple to understand that, okay? So you want to be taking sells there. And the reason why you're taking sells is because we closed below support over here and we're flipping bearish, okay? So very, very simple strategy that. It's just a Fibonacci strategy. So basically you just want to be buying or selling the retracement. So you're looking for, you put your stop loss above the previous Fibonacci level and target 1s2, and that would be your trade, okay? So yeah, we went over a couple strategies there. Make sure you watch it again, because these strategies I use every single day. Like for this Ethereum trade, I'll quickly run through it, but essentially it's a retest, right? The reason why I'm long over here, what is my entry? Let me have a look. I think it was 1635. Let me have a look quickly. But basically, where's my phone? Here we go. Yeah, 1635. Okay, so reason why we're taking longs over here is very, very simple, right? So obviously Bitcoin, this was a previous high in the market. We started closing above this. So essentially we have flipped bullish, right? So where do you want to be buying? You want to be buying on the retracements, right? So if we actually take Fibonacci from the low to the high, you can see that the golden pocket, the 0.618 level is this zone over here. So we also have a massive, massive level of support over here. Whenever price taps into the zone, we normally get quite a significant bounce. Then it flips into resistance, and now it's flipping back into support. Okay. So it's this is basically just a retest, right? So the reason why I'm taking buys here is just because of that, and it's on the higher time frame. But yeah, I hope this helped out. It is quite a long video, but basically what you want to do is you just want to identify your ranges on like the 4 hour / the 1 hour, and then basically look for breakouts on these time frames, right? If you get a 4 hour candle closure below a certain level, you wait for that candle to create a top wick and then flip bearish, take sells to the previous low. Same thing with buys. We went through it. Okay, so that is basically my strategy. I don't really use any indicators or anything like that. But yeah, I hope this has helped. Obviously, you have to take in consideration news and stuff if there's news on a certain day. But that is the current strategy that I am using. Okay, yeah, I hope this has helped. It's quite a long video, but yeah, let's see if you guys enjoy this type of strategy. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you guys do like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.